This week we're driving the 2023 GMC Canyon. And this is GM's next generation of mid-size pickup with an all-new design, new interiors, lots to cover. Let's get into it. So first off, each 2023 Canyon trim sits higher and wider than its previous generation, providing improved approach and departure angles, as well as breakover angles. For this new generation Canyon, the front air dam was removed for the elevated approach angle, while the front axle was moved forward for improved proportions and a more planted level stance. A simplified short bed crew cab configuration comes standard across the 2023 Canyon lineup, which consists of the Elevation, the AT4, the Denali, and the AT4X. And the AT4X is an absolute beastly looking truck. This one here that we're driving is the Denali trim. So the interior, super nice. We're gonna jump into all of that. The last time I drove one of the mid-sized trucks from GM, it's been a few years. It was right after they released the diesel engine in the trucks. Of course, that's not an option anymore as of this year model. We'll talk about what's under the hood again in just a second. Also in 2018, I think it was, I drove the Bison, the ZR2 Bison of the Colorado. That thing was amazing. Off-road capabilities, amazing. So that AT4X, I think also would be really great. Hopefully we'll get to drive it at our off-roading event coming up soon. But for this one, it makes sense. We got the Denali, still very capable off-road, but made to be a more livable, luxurious ride. Let's go ahead and cover the exterior and what's changed here in the exterior design, and then we'll get into the rest of the truck. All right, and for the 2023 model year, the third generation of Canyon, it does feature an all-new look, and I think it looks really good, especially what they've done with the front end here. Again, all trim levels are taller than the previous generation, and you can really tell that here by looking at the exterior. The front fascia features full LED exterior lighting, relocated fog lights, and daytime running lights, and the top super thin lights with the headlights integrated into the bumper style. Looks really good. We've got that chrome grille for the Denali trim with the red GMC, looks really good. You can see there at the bottom of the front bumper cover, you've got the appearance of a skid plate. It's still just plastic, but it looks really good. The wheel arches are very boxy looking with those side lights there on the top of the wheel arch. We've got the Denali badge on the side of the door. We've got the side step rails. They do not fold. So if you are looking at off-roading this thing, you probably want to take those off. Chrome door handles, chrome on the mirrors. We also have those 20-inch exclusive to the Denali trim diamond cut machine alloy wheels. Yeah, they look pretty good on this black truck. Of course, you've got one exhaust outlet sticking out. You've got integrated steps into the rear bumper. You've got the Canyon badge there, as well as the GMC Denali badge, dominant on that tailgate. And then again, full LED for the tail lights. And before we drop that tailgate and take a look at the bed, let's first talk about the full dimensions of this truck. So our total wheelbase here is 131.4 inches. The full length is 213.2 inches. Has a width of 72.4 inches, a height of 80.4 inches. The front overhang is 34.5 inches. The rear is 47.3 inches. And the Denali trim has a bit of a lift with a 10.5 inch ground clearance, so it can really go off-road and do some stuff. With that, let's check out the bed. First off, we'll have to unlock the truck to be able to drop the bed. Soft drop. You've got a tape measure here on the tailgate. You've got cool designs here. You've actually got this little storage area in the tailgate itself. Pretty interesting. I've never seen that before, which locks up here. The full box is 61.7 inches long. The width is 58.1 inches. And your total cargo volume is 41.9 cubic feet. So it can definitely fit a lot more than just this one chair that I have back here. We do have the bed liner, it does say Denali in it. You've got tie downs. You've got the 120 volt box mounted power outlet. It's a truck bed. Let's go ahead and pop the hood, check out the engine, and then we'll move inside. All right, and unlike the previous generation that had quite a few engine options, right now this third generation 2023 only has one no matter what trim you select. You're looking at a 2.7 liter turbocharged engine, 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque, matched up to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So it is small displacement, but pretty good power for this truck. I imagine down the line they'll be adding more trims, more engine options, but this is a great starter engine for sure, especially in this Denali. And that's gonna allow you to tow up to 7,700 pounds, which for a mid-sized truck is super good. With that, let's go ahead and jump in the rear seats, talk about the rear of the interior, then we'll jump into the driver's seat and talk about the rest of the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. All right, here in the rear seats of the Canyon, it's a nice place to be. It's a Denali still, but it is tight. I can sit up straight, just enough headroom. I'm 6'1", bigger guy, but I do have plenty of knee and foot room here. We do have a pull down armrest with cup holders. We got USB Type-C and USB Type-A charging ports, our own vents, more cup holders here. Again, a decent place to be. Kids even complained about it a little bit being back here. Of course, they're getting pretty tall as well. So if you're using this for a family truck, it's gonna be tricky, but it's doable, especially for a smaller family. But other than that, not much else back here to brag about. Let's go ahead and jump into the driver's seat, take a look at the tech and the rest of the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. So the interior in here is really nice. It's a Denali, go figure. Let me give you a good look around. Let's start off by turning it on, push button start. Of course the screens, but we'll get back to that in a bit. We do have the exclusive jet black with teak accents. The Denali trim is also exclusively trimmed with laser etched wood and leather appointments here. All look really nice and even feel nice. And across the lineup, no one interior of any trim is the same. Each trim gets its own individual design, and the Denali, obviously a super luxurious, nice looking design. We also do have a 7-speaker Bose audio system here, which is nice. And let's come on back down to the screen. It is an 11.3-inch touchscreen display, Android based, running Google with Google Assistant. So you can say, hey Google, and the assistant will pop up and you can give it instructions. Works pretty well here. And with that, we do have cooled seats here. We have heated seats, and there is quite a bit buried into the infotainment system here, including, it took me a long time to figure out, your lighting controls are all in the touch screen. There is no physical controls for the lighting controls except for your bright lights. You also have some off-road settings, off-road menus. Super cool. We do have 360 cameras, including some top-down looks of both the front and back, side views, and depending on what trim you can get more cameras. So the AT4X trim gets like 9 cameras, I believe it is. Really cool. You also do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, obviously, which I'm an Apple guy and definitely use the CarPlay most of the week. Moving down from the screen, you do have all your physical AC and heat controls, including those cooled and heated seats, and your big knobs here for adjusting the temperature. Down from there, you do have your vents, and then some more chunky physical buttons, including a button to roll your windows, all the windows down at the same time, but not back up. Your button to kill the auto start stop feature, hazard lights, quick lane sensing button, and an aux button. You do have USB Type-C and A charging ports. And this is a wireless charging pad down here that will wirelessly charge your phone. You can hook it up wirelessly to the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto as well. Moving back from that is your terrain select modes. So you do have a 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low, 2-wheel high, and auto options. You have a normal mode, an off-road mode, tow haul mode, a terrain mode, and you can select those with a twist of this knob. And then to set it into 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low, it's a matter of pushing in on this button arrangement right here. Back from there is your electronic parking brake. And then of course your big traditional gear shifter here. Putting in reverse does bring up your backup camera, and you can have that full 360 as well. Then you got cup holders, nice padded armrest with a dual layer cubby, decent size. Our Denali steering wheel is full leather with that teak color of stitching. You do have buttons on the steering wheel for controlling a lot of your functions and settings, as well as buttons behind the steering wheel that do like volume on this side and audio controls on the other side. The steering wheel is also a heated steering wheel, which always comes in nice and handy in the winter. And then behind the steering wheel, we've got our full 11-inch digital driver display, which can be thumbed through some different options and some different looks. And then finally, a 6.3-inch head-up display. It's a multicolor display that can give you a lot of different information as well. Always super nice, and of course, GM's been doing these things for a long time now. We also do have a sunroof, the back window that opens as well, and probably a ton more that we're not even covering. But I think it's time to get this thing out on the road, start talking about how it drives, talk a little bit more about how the interior feels as a driver, and then we'll begin to wrap it up after that. Let's go. All right, let's get this thing out on the road. This is a mid-sized truck, but especially after driving the last like 2 or 3 trucks that I've had have been driving the Santa Cruz, driving the Maverick, trucks that I really like, but getting in this thing, it feels like a bigger truck. Of course, I've had the Lightning recently as well. That thing is a big truck, but this thing, for a mid-sized truck, it is a big truck. But of course, that makes it a very capable truck. You can tow, like I said, 7,700 pounds. You have a trailering app all hooked up here, which is really nice. You have that terrain management system, so you can get really good off-roading cred from this thing. During my week with it, I didn't get to take it off-road, but this one specifically, the Denali, is all about comfort, style, and going anywhere, and it just does that flawlessly. I've had it out here in the suburbs. I've had it on rural backcountry roads. I've had it up on the highway. We've had it in the city, in the heart of the city. Everywhere it shines. Again, it's a bigger truck, so if you're not used to driving a bigger vehicle in a city setting with tighter lanes, there's always that. But for me, it really shines everywhere. Road noise, super low. Even with these 20-inch rims and the all-season tires, there's not a lot of road noise. Engine sound isn't the greatest, but it's not terrible either, and if you're not really hard into it, it's pretty quiet. And of course, wind noise, even being more boxy, no issues. Comfort from the driving position is really good. It did take me a little bit to find a really good comfortable position, but sometimes that happens jumping from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. When you get in a new vehicle, it'll feel uncomfortable for a day or so, and then you kind of suit your body to it. Again, that's more about being an automotive reviewer and driving a different car every week. But now here at the end of the week, after driving it for a full week, super comfortable. Getting in and out, you do have the side step, which helps. It is a bit taller, so it takes a little bit getting in and out. Everything's arranged pretty nicely. Most things are done in the touchscreen display, but you do have a lot of physical buttons as well. But overall, in the driving position, everything's easy to touch and easy to figure out. Fuel economy with that 4-cylinder turbocharged engine in this heavy truck. It does suffer a bit. You're talking about 17 miles per gallon city, 21 highway. We've averaged around 17.5 miles to the gallon for the full week that we've had it. Not terrible, but also not really that great. Again, I foresee them adding some more engine options as the third generation progresses in years. And I've left it in normal terrain, two-wheel high, or auto the entire time. So that's not even using the four-wheel drive. You do get good safety technology in here as well. You've got your lane sensing, but this doesn't have the super cruise like we've seen some other GM vehicles recently. But you do have radar guided cruise control, which works just fine. We have the safety alert seat, which will buzz instead of a loud beeping sound, which I do appreciate. We've got the blind spot monitors, and again, just a ton of safety features that all work really well in this truck. So at the end of the week, I do really like driving this. I really like the interior and all the tech here. I really like the design. What about the price? Let's go ahead and pull back over. We'll talk about the price, and then we'll wrap it up with some of my final thoughts on the competition and what I think about this truck specifically. So let's get into that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the price here, starting with the base price of the base trim, the Evolution. It starts off at $36,900, and you're getting still a lot of great amenities with that. The AT4 starts at $43,900. The Denali starts at $51,000, and the AT4X starts at $55,500. And what we're sitting in here, the way that it's spec'd out, has a full MSRP of $53,990. So before I tell you what I think about that price and the competition, let's go ahead and jump out and we'll start wrapping this thing up with some final thoughts. So before I give my final thoughts on this truck in particular, let's just say that the mid-range size of trucks are kind of one of my favorites. I also like the new, more compact trucks that are coming out. If you've been following the channel at all, you'll know I'm a fan of the Hyundai Santa Cruz. I really like the Ford Maverick. But if it was me buying a truck, I'm not looking at the F-150s or the Sierras, or definitely not any bigger. Although those are fun to drive, and I completely understand the usefulness of them for people that buy them and need them. But myself, if I needed a truck, this is a size of truck that I would buy. In the mid-sized truck market, this one, the GMC Canyon, has been for the last couple of years my favorite looking truck. I like the Ranger and I like the way that it drives, but as far as looks and interior, I've always liked the Canyon. I also like the Colorado when it's beefed up in the ZR2 Bison type style. The base ones don't look great, but that's not really what they're for. All that to say that this, the 2023 Canyon, still is probably the best looking mid-sized truck on the market. I really like the new style that they've got here. It's a little bit more boxy, a little bit more aggressive, taller, wider, and I'm a big fan. Even at the price point of this one, the Denali, it's competitive with what's out there in the market. Although for a mid-sized truck, you are pushing up against the full-size truck market with the price, which is always something that the manufacturers struggle with. But again, even if I could afford the bigger truck, personally, I'm going for this size of truck. So it makes sense. I'd love to drive the AT4X, obviously. Hopefully for the truck rodeo event that is coming up, we will get to drive that, and I'll get a video out for you guys. But almost even more than that, I want to drive some of the lower end trims that have a little bit better of a sticker price and seem to be just as cool looking and capable. Again, some personal preference throwing into this pretty fair review, I think. With that, I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the new style, about the new truck. Let me know what you think about where it fits in the market, especially for the price. Subscribe to the channel if you're into automotive reviews. We do a different review every week. With that said, you should also check out TXGARAGE.com, where we've got a lot of written reviews as well as event and news coverage from a lot of great authors, not just myself. So our contributor, Bill, also drove this new Canyon and really liked it. He's got a long, nice write-up on it from his perspective. So definitely go show some love over there on TXGARAGE.com. You can also sign up for our newsletter if you just want a weekly wrap-up of everything that we do within a week. But with that, that's all I got for you in this video. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.